Hello, it's Sunday, October 8th, 2017, and as of this recording, I'm still depressed, but I'm not dead. Hey everybody, welcome back. I appreciate you taking time out of your busy days to download and listen to the podcast. It warms my heart every time I see another download on the statistics page for the show. It's still so amazing to me that folks actually do find either enjoyment or benefit or both or whatever in listening to me and take time to listen to more. So thank you so very much. I appreciate every single one of you. I'm doing another car show here, so I woke up this morning at about 4:30, rolled around the bed till about 5, got up, took a shower, and now I'm outside of Brugger's Bagels waiting for them to open so I can go in and eat a couple bagels and surf the internet mindlessly for a couple hours till Nora gets up and I'll go home and see her. So again, like last time, apologies if the sound isn't so great. I've got a kind of a cheap headset here. I heard from a few folks that it wasn't so bad last time, so yeah, we'll see how that goes. Before I get into the show, and I'm not exactly sure what I'm going to talk about, but let me remind you how you can get a hold of me. Jamoalki at gmail.com, facebook.com/Jamoalki, at Jamoalki on Twitter, www.jamoalki.info. That's JAMOALKI. And there's also the text line 248-648-1419. Send me a message. Let me know how you're doing. I'll send you another message back and let you know how I'm doing. Got a few conversations going back and forth with some listeners, and I do enjoy it quite a bit. So, yeah, reach out to me. Let me know what's going on. I'd love to hear from you. Real quick about the web page. I've made a new page on the jamolki.info which will house the podcast specifically away from the blog. And I started doing this because I realized there's no, well, one, I'm really bad at putting show notes up. And there are no show notes for the first 8 episodes. And I wanted to remedy that. So I'm going back through and actually listening to the shows and putting in some show notes. So I've got episodes 1, 2, and 3 so far and hopefully I can do about one a day and get it all caught up. And so the podcast will be separate now on the website from the blog posts. So yeah, that's that. Let's get into it. So I mentioned that I've been going back through and listening to some of the shows, which is something that I was certain I would never do. I've mentioned it on here. You know, the reason why I started the podcast was because writing down, journaling is not really something that I excel at, and generally I destroy what I write after going back through and reading it. And I didn't want to get into that kind of situation with the podcast, right? I, huh. You know, I try to be open and honest on the show here, and I think I'm pretty successful at that. And, you know, I had this kind of nagging worry that if I were to listen to it, outside of editing it, obviously I edit the show before it goes out, but I'm not really listening to it for content. I'm listening to it for sound quirks and whatnot. Yeah, so my worry was that I'd go through and listen to it and realize, geez, what a mumbling pile of festering whatever this is. Or I was concerned that given time passing by, that my I don't know what I want to say, my propensity to belittle the things I do would take over, and I would think in my head that no, gosh, that's why would you say that? That's silly. That's dumb. What? And so far through 3 episodes that hasn't happened. I've actually been kind of, well, a couple things. First thing I noticed is how I was trying to disguise my voice a little bit, but I've realized now listening back to it that all I did was made it sound like a poor recording quality. But I was trying to keep my privacy, myself anonymous. Yeah, that's kind of funny when I listen back to that a little bit. But what I find is I'm interested in that guy who's talking to me, which is strange for me to think that I am interesting. That's not how I ever see myself. Even if I'm talking about something that I think is interesting, I still assume that I'm boring the pants off of people who might be listening to me. So that's a positive kind of piece of feedback that I'm getting from it, which is great. The other thing I noticed is just how more despondent I sounded in the first couple episodes. And I'm kind of looking forward to listening to more and seeing as the show progresses if that kind of goes away. If I I shouldn't, don't should yourself. I hope that my mood, my mental illness, my depression is lifting as time goes on, and so I'm hoping to hear that. So we'll see. Yeah, that would be nice to hear. Those of you who have been listening for a while, send me a message. Let me know what I'm looking for, what I have to look forward to. Is that something that actually happens? Is it no? Is my does my tone and my emotion that comes through, is it improving? Is it staying the same? Is it what? I'm really curious to know about that. And this is part of I guess the therapeutic portion of why I do the show, is to hope to learn more about myself. And I guess it's always been true that listening back on them is the best way to gain that perspective that I'm looking for. Because when I'm talking, my head just feels like it's swimming with ideas, or swimming with negative thoughts or positive thoughts. And I don't often really feel like when I finish talking that I have a handle, I have a grasp on what it is that I said, and that I can piece it back together into some kind of continuous series of ideas. And listening back to them does that for me. Obviously, the first few episodes were about 18 minutes long or so, so it's easier to listen to that for 18 minutes and then see a string of ideas, of consciousness, or whatever. Yeah, this is pretty interesting to me, and I'd love to hear what any of you think. Yeah, that'd be great. Thank you in advance if you decide to do that. Something else someone else that came, is pretty, someone else, something else, or I guess someone else who popped up in the early episodes was my friend Johnny, who, and I through episode 3, I haven't named him as Johnny, but I distinctly remember I talked about receiving some emails, and he's distinctly my first emailer. I sent him an email after I listened to the third episode, just to say, hey, how's it going? I hope you're doing well. And I hope I hear back from him. It's interesting that the emails I get, or the texts I get, or whatever, Facebook messages, it's like immediately in my head, whoever that person is, we're friends. And I kind of refer to them as friends. And, people who I don't know, who don't know me, though maybe some of you feel like you know me somewhat from listening to me on the show, but it's like if you contact me, you reach out to me, like instantly I'm interested in your story. I'm interested in how you're doing. I'm not the best conversationalist. I'm not the best at, with my fluctuating mood, kind of up and down, and, a lot more down lately. It's difficult for me to stay in contact routinely, much like it's difficult for me to hold a conversation. I do enjoy hearing back from folks, and it kind of made me a little sad that I know that Johnny and I lost contact, and I hope that means that he's, doing better. Johnny, if you are still listening, I hope you're doing better, man. We didn't get too far into deep details on what's going on, but yeah, man, I hope you're doing well. And if you hear this and you have a second, just drop me a line. Say, hey, yeah, I'm doing well. My life is kind of taking me another direction, so hey, I probably can't keep up a conversation. Fine, whatever. I guess it's kind of selfish of me to want to know how you're doing. So if you still listen, let me know how you're doing. I'd really, really appreciate it. So it's interesting how I'm kind of looking forward on the show to see the things that come up because my memory isn't great, and I honestly don't remember. I know there's a few episodes that I recall what I did. There's 2 episodes with music that I did. The one episode where I read Nora's letter about the worst day of her life, and the one about what jamoalki versus the Second Amendment. Those kind of I don't know if I'm gonna call them feature shows, but kind of more specific shows about something. I remember those, but I don't remember the odd Wednesday in July when I recorded a show. So I'm looking forward to that because I'm kind of running out of things to say here already. So yeah, that's all. It's really interesting going back and listening to the shows and the memories, the feelings that it provokes. Yeah, I never would have thought that I'd gain something from listening to them, but clearly I am. Let's see what else. Yeah, last episode with Nora, I committed to Nora to doing 30 to 45 minutes of exercise 5 times a week. And this week has been going. I've got 3 days in with 2 days left to go, Saturday and Sunday. I've gone in and basically I ride a stationary bike for whatever, 15 minutes, and then get on the treadmill and run at a slower pace for, a solid 15 and then 16 and then 17 minutes now. So yeah, I wanted to check back in and say, hey, I'm still doing that. In general, I feel somewhat better immediately following the exercise, but it doesn't last. By the time I get home, which is probably a 8-minute drive, a 10-minute drive, I'm right back to where I've been the past month and a half. Yeah, so I guess it's a win that I get that 10 minutes of feeling better about myself, but it's not, and obviously I haven't improved my overall health by going to the gym 3 times. I think that's part of the goal, right, is to get a lasting improvement, and hopefully that translates into, better, slightly improved mental health along with my slightly improved physical health. So, yeah, I'm doing it. In fact, Nora and I went last night to the gym to get it done. So yeah, I'm still on it. I'm gonna give her another week or so before I bug her about her commitment to the show. But yeah, so far so good on that. And so I guess that brings us to just how I'm feeling right now since the last show, covering the last week and a half maybe. And I tell you, I'm doing a lot more sleeping. I'm doing a lot more hate of myself. It's tricky what to really put a. Basically, I'm just in full bore depressed JP mode. I think maybe I mentioned, I'm not sure. I know I tweeted about it, some time ago. Maybe it was last weekend. I was walking to the bagel shop and I got to a point just past halfway there, and this overwhelming idea of God, everything you do is so stupid. Why are you bothering to do anything? And that just stopped me from in my tracks. I just stopped. I was on the sidewalk outside somebody's house early in the morning. I'm sure if someone had seen me, I'd look kind of suspicious. But it just stopped me. I was paralyzed with, why are you doing anything? Why the hell are you going to get bagels? What? That's stupid. You've had so many bagels. Admittedly, they're losing their pizzazz for me, which is why I'm going to Brugger's Bagel today to kind of mix things up a little bit. Yeah, I was, physically frozen by the thought of why do you do anything? I haven't answered that yet. I don't know. I don't know why I do anything. I mean, I work to make money to get out of the house. That's about it. Everything else, there's been plenty of times, when I think about the next episode I'm going to do here, where I think, why are you doing it? Why are you wasting your time? Why are you wasting people's time with just mindless babble that no one really cares about? And please, you hear me say that, know that that's my depressed mind talking. I'm not trying to make a commentary on any of the listeners. Maybe you care, maybe you don't, maybe you find something productive, maybe you don't. That's I'm not judging anyone. That's just my depressed mind talking. So please don't be offended or call me names or whatever. Yeah. Um, but glad, proud to say that I got going again, and I did go finish the walk to the bagel shop and had some yummy bagels and did some stuff on the internet, sent an email or two. So, I didn't let it win. I didn't go back home and crawl into bed, though I think maybe if Nora were out of town on work, I may have gone back home and gotten into bed. So, another way that Nora kind of keeps me going, I guess. So, yeah, there's a lot more of that, a lot more self-doubt going on, a lot more of my indecisiveness, lack of interest in many things, just stereotypical depressed guy kind of thing is going on. And I can't shake it. I think physically, I think I feel a little bit more energetic. I don't feel like I need to cash in because I don't have the strength to go do things. It's all just I don't have the drive, the desire, the proper way of thinking to get things done. And yeah, I don't know. I'm still looking for a way to get through it. Still looking for a hobby. My internet friend April suggested I do felting, which looks pretty interesting. But again, I'm cheap and I don't know that I'm really willing to buy supplies for it just yet. Maybe if I can find a class at Joann's or something about felting, I can go see if I like it. Or I don't know, maybe meetup.com has got a felting group and I can go and use someone else's tools for a little bit and decide if I like it. I just, with my depressed mind, I'm thinking I'm not gonna like it or I'm gonna suck at it and I'm gonna get so frustrated that I won't do it again. And then I've got supplies that I've invested money in. Oh, that sounds like an excuse, doesn't it? Oh, man. Um, but yeah, so I'm still trying to narrow in on a hobby. Everybody, if you have a hobby that you do that you think other people would enjoy, let me know. Yeah, we'll see. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah. So on the mental front, I guess I'm not showing much improvement. Although I have been a little more social with, I sent out some long overdue Facebook messages and text messages and emails yesterday and the day before to you folks out there. So, I guess that's a positive sign. Although I did it and I kind of was, I don't know. I was frustrated that I had done it because, you message someone, they message you back. And, when my message going out is, "Hey, how you doing? I hope you're doing well." The natural response is for them to come, write back how they're doing and then ask how I'm doing. And so now I'm kind of tied into a conversation that I don't really have the mindfulness to do, the mindset to to take part in. So then it becomes like, oh well, why do you message me if he's not going to chat? So we'll see. Oh, the bagel shop is open, and so maybe I'll go in and reply back to some of those messages I received back yesterday. So let me close by thanking you all again for taking time to listen. You guys rock. I appreciate it so very much. I did want to mention on, reaching out and contacting me. I can understand there's a desire to keep your anonymity, remain anonymous. And, there's things like when you send emails, your name shows up or Twitter can be tracked, whatnot. But I want to assure you guys that I don't do that at all. I don't have that kind of interest in or that drive to research you and look up, see who is, scaredy cat 101 at gmail.com. I don't really need to look into that. And if it shows up just because it shows up, then fine. I know your name is Howard, and maybe I'll use it in an email back. But I'm not looking into people. I'm not trying to find out extra information. So if you are concerned about that, the best I can do is assure you that that's not my goal, and that's not something that I do at all. What information I gain about you is what you're comfortable sharing. Just like what you guys get from me is what I'm comfortable sharing. So please, if that's what's keeping you from messaging me, at least know that it's not something that you need to worry about. I'm not mining in personal data or anything like that. So yeah, reach out, let me know how you're doing. I'd love it. I'd love to hear some stories about what's going on with you guys. So until then, everybody be safe and be well. Thanks.